I'm Aruni and I'm going to answer the question for exercise 5.7. There are 5 questions in total and I'm going to answer each. In the first question, you are asked to answer the question, what does the CRISP methodology of data mining entail and what does the data analyst do in each step? So CRISP DM methodology is stand for cross industrial standard processing method for data mining, and this framework is the main framework for data mining project implementation. And there are 6 steps consist of this methodology. First is business understanding. During business understanding, you are going to plan your business objective into data analysis project. So actually you are going to discuss with stakeholders and subject matter expertise about the business objective and how to collaborate data analytic view with the business objective. And then you are going to discuss about the tools and softwares, what you are going to use in the data analysis process, and how about the budget allocations and how you are going to manage the cost, and what are the milestones and how you plan duration and schedules. Likewise, you will basically plan your project during this process aligned with the business objective. And then you are going to go for second step. This is data understanding. During this process, you are going to look at data and how to extract the raw data, and then you are going to plan for the how to collect the data, and then you will go through different stakeholders to extract data processing. And likewise, basically you will understand about data and how to use it in the data analysis process. And then the third stage, I would say this is one of critical stage and important for the data analysis process. During this process, basically you are doing the data cleaning. You can do addressing missing value or handling duplicates or deriving variables or whatever you are going to do with data sets. And also you can do the visualizing. Basically in this process you are going to process and manipulate your data into a proper manner that you can extract a proper result. So after this stage you are going to the fourth stage. This is the data modeling, and during the data preparation stage you are going to collaborate with data engineers. And the next stage, data modeling process, you are going to incorporate with the data scientists and statisticians, because they are going to help with fitting your prepared data into different models. And there are different data models like ARISMA and statistical models, or either machine learning advanced algorithm models. Likewise, you can fit your prepared data into these models, and sometimes your data won't be fitted either of models. Then you have to get the help of data scientist or statistician to implement a new model. Or likewise, you have to do the data modeling process in this stage, and then you have to evaluate as next stage. During this stage you are going to evaluate your data model you develop. So you will perform your data model and validate how accurate it is and how efficient with meeting up your business object. And likewise, you have to do everything during this process. And finally, the deployment. Also, you have to do documentation. You might have to do documentation during this process, error fixing, and everything is done by during the evaluation process. And then finally the deployment process. This is the last stage, and during this process you are going to roll out your developed model into operational environment. During this process you are going to collaborate with stakeholders, and you will reach into real systems, so that you have to do documentation, supporting, and training your users. Such kind of things can be might be done in this process. So these are the main steps in the CRISP DM methodology. In the second question, they were asked to explain what needs to be done before you can forecast time series. What does time series series analysis involve? So in the time series analysis is usually a statistical technique which used to forecast about future by using historical data. So basically you are going to forecast based on historical data analysis. So most of the time we are going to analyze two variables. Mainly the one is a time variable, and how the time variable depend on the how the other variable depend on the time is analyzed during this process. uh, as usual, in the other data analysis process, data collection should be done. For you need to concern about data collection in this process. You need to collect sufficient amount of data with historical data, like maybe 10 years, 20 years, or whatever you have to decide with your project plan or project characteristics. And also you can decide the intervals like weekly, monthly, or whatever it is. So usually you have to decide it with other stakeholders, and then you have to prepare your data, manipulate your data. During this process you can use plots and visualize your project data. Usually the x-axis is time, and the y-axis is the other dependent variable. Usually this is the chosen visualization for the represent time series analysis. So I can give you example. Oil price depend on the time or over a year, 10-year, or decade. This can be one of the example. So after that you have to fit into a model sometimes, and then you can forecast the time series analysis with the data model. So I would say you have to more concern about time series analysis with this aspects of mainly the seasonality. The seasonality is a current regular pattern that you can understand between two variable relationship. So the other is autocorrelation. This conveys the uh, similarity between the two variables in time intervals. The other is season stationarity. So it is important to consider stationarity. If you find a relationship between a variable stationarity stationer station, you don't have any trend or pattern, so you can't predict or forecast anything. So it is necessary to be non-station relationship between two variables to time series analytics forecast. These are the things that you need to do before forecasting with the time series analysis. So in the fourth question, you are asked to imagine you are an analyst at a financial services company, and you have some concerns about bias in the way predictive model was measured. How would you raise your concern with your manager? Make some suggestions for how to avoid measurement bias in the future. So In this case, since I would like to directly communicate with manager, but in a professional manner. So initially I would talk with manager and request for a schedule a meeting, and there I will discuss what are the consequences, and I would highlight with this consequence with examples and evidences. And then since it is important to document and report these discussions, I would keep on track with discussions, with documenting and reports, and I would like to share with the manager, and then I will keep track on all the things that should be activated, and then I will suggest some practical solutions like since it's a measurement bias, you can give a training to individuals which are measuring measuring the uh, data, and you can select the sample or select individuals that are well expertise in this process. So these are the things that we can avoid the measurement bias in future. And for fifth question, we are asked to explain the difference between regression and classification model in predictive analysis, and when you use one of these models over the other. I would say these both are predictive analysis models. It's basically depends either regression model or classification model depending on your project. If you are going to predict about quantity depending on quantity or continuous variable, it's going to be regression model. If it's going to be category or class of the class, you are going to be use the classification model. So in the regression model, you are going to see a relationship between target variable or predicted variable with the input variable, continuous and numeric. This is going to be a regression model and used in regression model. And I can give you example. Consider housing price in current day world. This is depend on a location or size of the house or amenities of the area, so that you can decide the dependent variable as a quantity. The classification model is the dependent variable is category, which is related to another category which is predefined with the features. So you can get the relationship between these, and you can forecast about the target variable. For example, I can give you can filter spam in your email account with the keywords that used in usual spam emails. These are the answers for the exercise 5.7, and thank you very much.